Hello everybody and welcome to my 64th VBA 2010 tutorial, and this tutorial is going to show you how to use Sendkeys to control other applications. So it's going to lead on from the last tutorial where we were running other applications using the shell command. So the first thing I'm going to do is going to open up the calculator with the shell command. So call shell, and then this time, instead of passing it a batch file, I'm passing it a .exe file, which opens up the Windows calculator. So let's copy the file path, and then let's use normal focus. And then when we press play on this, it's going to bring up our calculator rather than bringing up a batch file. Now I want to actually do stuff with this calculator, so I'm going to use something called Sendkeys. So you just put in call Sendkeys, and then we put in what we want it to type in the keyboard, essentially. And then we're going to put a comma true. And the true just means that it's going to wait to input this before moving on to the next command. So let's press play. Notice how it's actually type 64 in my editor rather than my calculator. And that's just because it moves on to this one before it's finished doing the shell command. So we need to just put a little bit of wait time in, so that it doesn't move on too quickly. So let's put wait time, and then we have this function here called wait time that I'm using, and you put in a number of milliseconds and it just adds them on to the application.wait function and works out how much extra time. So just copy this function exactly. So we're going to put in wait time 2000, and then we want to press play again to test it. So it opens it up and then it puts 64 in. We're then going to press add, so let's put Sendkeys and then add and then true, and press play. And so it will come through to 64. Notice that it's not pressing add. So the reason for this is because this actually means, I think it means shift. So what we have to do is just put curly braces around it. They kind of act like escape characters. So when we press play, it's going to press 64 and then it's going to press add as well. We can then move on to our next one, which is Sendkeys, and then let's put 81. Comma true, and then press play, and it's going to go 64 plus 81, and then finally I want to press enter, and you might be thinking, well, how do I type enter on my keyboard? Well, again, we use these curly braces and then we just type enter, and there's quite a few different keys that you need to use these curly braces for. If you go onto your Sendkeys and press shift F1, then it'll bring up your help document, and on here we have a list of all of the different things that you need to use curly braces for. And then say you've got function keys, scroll lock, pressing right arrow, pressing up arrow, num lock, help, home, enter, end, down, delete, basically everything that is in a letter or a number. And you've also got the ability at the bottom to use shift and something else. So if you want to press, say, control and S to save a document, you'd use this little up sign and then an S. So we're using the enter, so when we press play, it's going to bring up the calculator and then do the calculation for us. Let's say we want to close it off at the end. We do call Sendkeys, and then we want to use we go into our help, we want to use our one for Alt and F4. So F4 we see is in curly things, and then the Alt we see need to do a %. So let's go %, and then F4, comma true. And then let's just wait 2 seconds before doing that, because otherwise it's just going to close it straight away. So let's press play, and it's going to do our calculation. 2 seconds later, it's going to close down the calculator. And that is essentially how you use Sendkeys. What I want to do next is I actually want to open up two applications. I'm going to switch between the two. So I'm not going to close it down. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to do a control, which is up button like this, and then C, to copy what's in the calculator. I'm then going to use the shell command again, but with this file path 2 that's going to open up Notepad. So let's do call shell and then file path 2, comma VB normal focus, close bracket. And then I'm going to do another wait time of 2 seconds. And then I'm going to call Sendkeys. And then this time I want to do Control and V to paste. Comma true. And then let's press play on this. So it's going to open up calculator, do the calculation, load up Notepad, paste it in. 145. Bada bing, bada boom. And let's not save this. Let's just close these down. So that is how you open up 2. What if we then want to switch back into the calculator and do another calculation? We don't want to just open up a new calculation because then we'll have loads open. So we want to be able to reference this one back here. So instead of using a call function on our shell command, we're actually going to assign the function to a variable. So I'm going to assign it to calc ID and then equals the shell command. And now what calc ID is going to store is it's going to store kind of a reference to this command. So now we've done our pasting in, we can put in some wait time and then get our calc ID and go call app activate, open bracket, pass it as the title parameter, the calc ID, and then let's put wait as false. And we put wait as false in this case because it means a slightly different thing, and if you put true, it's going to wait until you come back into here to start off this bit. So if you put true, it waits until it's back in the editor before it carries on running, which we don't want it to do. We want it to run straight away, so put false. We're then going to wait another 2 seconds. I actually think we're going to put 1 second around this app activate, make it go a little bit faster. And then we're going to send another calculation similar to this one. So Control C and paste it down here. And so this time let's do 21 plus 45. And that all looks good to me. And then similarly to how we got the ID for the calculator, I'm going to make a Notepad ID, and then I'm going to app activate down here and put some wait time in. Oh, and we're going off the screen. And put some more wait time in. And then we want to change this to our Notepad ID. And then when we come back into here, we just want to do the Control V again. Excellent. So now when we press play, it's going to open up our calculator, do our first sum, 145, paste it into Notepad for us, open up our calculator, do another calculation, copy it, go back into Notepad, paste it in for us. And it's all automated. What I actually want to do is I'm just going to put another enter in here. So let's copy our enter one and put it in. So it goes on to the next line. So let's just play this again. So it does the calculation, opens up Notepad, pastes our calculation in, goes back into calculator, does another one, goes back into Notepad, press enter, and puts the extra calculation in. And obviously you can keep going and you can make it run for as long as you want. And you can also use if statements, loops, whatever, to draw information out of your spreadsheet, put it into various applications, and then bring it back into your code or put it into other applications. We could do loops, so we could keep going over and over and over again, put loads of stuff into Notepad, things like that. It doesn't have to be Notepad in the calculator, it can be any .exe application. Just remember that you want to be putting true on your send keys, false on your app activate, and then using your wait time in between to make sure an appropriate amount of time is being waited between the individual kind of commands, because otherwise you'll start writing in places you don't want to write, and then you're going to have all kinds of pain. So that is going to be it for this tutorial. Thanks for listening. I know it was quite a long one. In the next few tutorials, I'm going to start showing you how to use objects in VBA. So this is going to be really powerful and quite complicated. So get your thinking hats ready, and I hope to catch you in the next tutorial.